deeper irony is that the record did not show a violent man being exposed. It showed a harmed child becoming an articulate adult, then being punished through the very language once used to describe his vulnerability. A few further remarks on madness. They called me unstable. One must admire the confidence of people who arrive late to another person's suffering and immediately begin rearranging the furniture. The record was there long before them. Depression, unhappy childhood, emotional abuse present, parental mental illness present, victim of abuse, no risk of harm to others, no psychosis, no hallucinations, no delusional ideas, no thought disorder, smart in appearance, intelligent, good personality, a very fine artist. How terribly inconvenient. The file did not describe a monster. It described a boy who had survived a house and then had the bad manners to remember it. A boy referred for help while adults failed to answer the forms. A boy whose pain was noted, filed as charged, because silence in families is often mistaken for improvement. All is now well. What a magnificent phrase, the official lullaby of neglected children. All is now well, because no one replied. All is now well, because the form was not returned. All is now well, because the child learned to disappear politely. Years later when I spoke, they called that madness. Of course they did, a family secret always finds confession very rude. They called it danger when the old wound found grammar. They called it obsession when memory became literate. They called it illness when the abused person identified the room, but the old notes were waiting. Quiet little witnesses in institutional handwriting. They said emotional abuse present. They said victim of abuse. They said no risk to others. They said no psychosis. They said no evidence of delusional ideas. They said artist. They said intelligent. They said recovery. So where is the violence? Not in the childhood record, not in the psychiatric record, not in the risk assessment, not in the Crown's opening, not in safe and well, not in crying disregards, only in the story they needed later. Because without violence, they are left with something much less flattering. A vulnerable person was provoked, pathologized, misrepresented, monitored, and then punished for words. Words, not robbery, not threats, not an old woman. Words, the wrong words, perhaps too early, too naked, too accurate, before accuracy had become socially acceptable. That is the scandal. Not that I was mad, that I was readable, not that I was dangerous, that I had a history which made their invention look vulgar. Not that I had no pain, that my pain was already documented before they tried to turn it into evidence against me. The record does not absolve them, it embarrasses them, and embarrassment in dishonest people is often mistaken for fear.